When playing a game, you're normally the main character, the hero, the good guy, the one that must overcome adversity. When defeating the boss, most of the times you don't even think about the evil boss's life or thoughts or even the backstory. You know they are bad, you are good, and in order to become the hero of the story, you must vanquish them. The Dark Queen of Mortholme takes that concept, reverses the roles in order to experience the other side of this cliche. This is roughly a 20 to 30 minute game about the everlasting and eternal Dark Queen that rules at the top of her castle over the land of Mortholme, until one day the hero appears and challenges her to a duel. You control the queen with only having 3 moves to your disposal, and it's getting heavy inspiration from Souls-likes. The hero even does a roll to dodge your attacks. Defeating the hero only causes him to respawn and come back, challenging you again, until eventually he overcomes and defeats you. In theory, this is a really simple game that doesn't have much to offer on the surface level. Where this game really shines is in its dialogue. Through their dialogue, you get to understand both characters' motives and their purpose in life. So now let me break down these characters. The Dark Queen has been ruling for years. She's an evil, monstrous, and all-powerful. To the Queen, this hero is no match. Not even worth full effort. You even have a choice to not even fight back, which this option will actually annoy the hero. This upsets the hero because the queen does not find him worthy of a challenge. To prove her point, she fights the hero, killing the hero and snapping her fingers, turning him into ash on some Thanos stuff. She has proved her point and now he will not be coming back. He returns and she kills him again. Surely that was enough to get him to stop. He's clearly not quitting, so at this point, you can decide how you want the queen to react, and there's a few options. One of them, the queen will start realizing that this is becoming an unfair battle, and not towards her favor, actually. He just keeps coming back to life. He only needs to win once, while you need to win every single time. To her, life is simply cruel for setting it up this way, blaming the destiny that he has. Eventually, the hero becomes strong enough and defeats her. Until her very last breath, she stays bitter. Another option is she actually realizes there's something special going on here, and she knows she will be defeated by the hero. However, she is honored to duel him to the death. This is the more interesting timeline. She goes from snapping her fingers to turning him into ash, to touching him, to then eventually hugging him into ash. Showing that as this battle continues on, the queen actually grows more and more attached to the hero until the bitter end. However, the queen is scared to die. She's eternal, everlasting, and above all, she doesn't want to be forgotten. How ironic. The woman that has lived for years and years, biggest fear is to be forgotten. She had so much time to do everything, see what the world had to offer her, but instead she stayed stuck in her castle because she believed anything beneath it was not worth it. It's an insane concept to think about, really. While on her knees about to die, depending on the choices you make, the hero will say, "I will never forget you," before ending her demise. A bittersweet way of ending her because the hero takes her memory with him for the rest of his life. There's a few more options that can happen, like you could be so cracked that he actually gives up. Me personally, I've never gotten that ending. Don't know what that really says about me. Which proved that against me, this hero is relentless. The hero in comparison to the queen is small, not even half the size, rocking a toothpick as a sword, and at first does literally no damage to the queen and dies in one hit. However, the hero shows up again, ready to fight her again and again and again. There's a creature that warns the queen of him at the beginning of the game about his relentlessness. Now, this is because he's a hero, sure, but the real reason is his tenacity to never give up. The queen just doesn't take him seriously, always making remarks of how she's not really using her full strength or how this is even a challenge. That right there is her biggest downfall. Because yes, at first he is weak, but with every battle he gets a little stronger. One battle he learns to dodge a move, the next he gains an extra heart, another he gains a new weapon. He is always learning something new or improving. He even has a hard-ass line: "Your victory is inevitable, but so is mine." He gets so much better that it requires the queen to go into her final form, showing her true strength, finally having to take him seriously. While the hero game plan is the same: learn and adapt, until eventually he succeeds, slaying her and moving on to his next challenge. There's still one more player in this whole game that I want to talk about. And no, it's not the dying creature at the beginning. Rest in power, my little one. You've never had a chance. The last character in this game is you. Now, at the back end of this video, I'm going to be quoting some books. So buckle up, gamers. So what is your role in this game, even though technically you're not in it? You are controlling the queen, but I would argue that you're actually both characters. And in a way, the game is playing you. I see it like this. The queen is one side of you that's scared of change, while the hero is the other side wanting to better themselves any way possible. The queen never leaves the castle. She's been there for years, never changing, never growing as a person. She mentions that failure is weakness, which is why she sticks to the moves that she knows works. Now I feel like everyone goes through this moment where they're thinking about switching jobs or taking that risk, and they're having anxiety because of the unknown or failing. They know what to expect from the job they work at. They have the same routine there, and even if it does not pay well or it just sucks as a whole, they stay anyways. They are comfortable whether they admit it or not. They think, what if the job is worse? What if I hate it even more? And results, they're too afraid to even take the risk, and they fail altogether. In the book, The Creative Act, Rick Rubin says, "So often we sleepwalk through our lives. Consider how different your experience of the world might be if you engage in every activity with the attention you might give to landing a plane." The queen is also scared to be forgotten. You know you need to let go of an addiction or a certain someone, and you're afraid that your friends and loved ones might say you've changed, or you're not cool anymore. But like the hero mentioned, he will never forget about her. And like your past events, for better or for worse, you will never forget about them, and will also shape your future. Like how the hero's skill improved because of the queen, and once defeated her, he can move on to the next challenge with the new skills he's learned. The better half of you, the hero, everyone starts off as an underdog in everything. You're going to fail a lot, over and over, and that's completely normal. He showed up after every failure and got a little better. In the book Atomic Habit by James Clear, he says, if you can get 1% better each day for a year, you'll end up 37 times better by the time you started. Meaning every death from him symbolizes another day for us to improve. Another chance to get one step closer to your goal. Now, not every day is going to be successful. The hero gets pretty good at fighting the queen's first phase, and after so many battles, he actually flops and does terribly in comparison to all his prior battles. This is life as well. You're not improving in a steady increasing line. Instead, you're in a bumpy line, constantly going up and down. But if you zoom out, you will notice overall it's going up. The hero even admits he doubts himself sometimes, and it feels like an uphill battle. These are all normal feelings for him to expect, but he does not let them sway him from his goal. After many attempts, the hero finally puts the queen on her knees, and he says he'll never forget about her as he moves on to his next challenge. This represents you using your past experience for your future events, even if they don't correlate with your new goal. In Steve Jobs' 2005 Stanford commencement addresses, he talks about going to college, taking courses he did not think had use for him. But not until later on did he connect these dots.
But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them.
The hero's next boss might not have anything similar to the queen, but because he has prior knowledge with the queen, he might be able to use something to his advantage against the new challenge. Also, reading comments about this game, a lot of people wanted them to end up together, me included. Maybe she could change her ways for him, maybe they could run off into the sunset, live happily ever after, I don't know. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that could never happen. The hero must continue to move forward, doing his best to make the world a better place and never slowing down, while the queen must give up her life for him. But honestly, more for herself to move on to the next destiny, a better life. Everything in life requires sacrifices. I chose to write this script to make this video, and the results, I picked this over gaming, working out, and even hanging out with Rose. Because I chose to be a YouTuber and make great content, which requires me to dedicate my time to my craft. You have to make a choice and sacrifice all other options in order to get the results you want. I'm gonna end the video with a quote from the hero, probably one of the hardest things he's ever said. The queen is trying to convince the hero to stop this crazy plan because she deems it impossible. The hero responds with, "To be relieved of the burden of trying, thanks, but no." Never stop pushing yourself to be someone greater, and never let other people sway your decisions. I love you all. Every day is our day. And if you have another game that you think is similar to this that I should make a video on, please let me know. I think this was a really interesting concept, and I love throwing philosophy into gaming. Crazy. Like mentioned, every day is our day. I'll see you on another one.